Welcome, everyone, to In Other Worlds. I am sitting down today with Ben Wolf and Luke Messa, the authors of Rickshaw Riot, which is going to be out on July 14th. There it is right there. How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Luke, are you doing all right?
I'm splendid. Thank you for asking.
We don't get to talk to you as much as we all get to talk to Ben.
True.
It's for the best. He's a better public face for the brand.
Nonsense.
I'm just more willing.
So give us kind of a quick rundown on Rickshaw Riot.
Rickshaw Riot is the story of a guy who creates a video game world. His goal is to make millions upon millions or even billions of dollars. Doing it, it combines all the most popular video games in history, and as soon as it launches, everything goes horribly wrong. He gets stuck inside with 1.3 billion other gamers, and he can't get out. No one can. The irony of this entire situation is that he hates video games. He was only trying to make money off of gamers, and now he's stuck with them, the people who he despises the most in the video game.
That is very true. He is very unhappy about it. Oh, you guys co-wrote this book. How did the two of you decide to team up?
Well, that was a fun experience for both of us, I think. Do you want to have something you want to say about it?
I can, sure. Yeah. It originally started because I remember we were driving back from a con, and you had pitched this idea. I've got this idea of a LitRPG tumbling around in my mind, and as I know you, it's you've got this perfect blend of I have a story deep inside that needs to be told, and it's also perfect because then I can write to market too. So those hybridize well. Yeah. And he pitched the idea to me, and I'm like, that sounds fun. Like that sounds like something I'd be interested in reading, or it could be very unique. And I kind of threw the idea. I was like, I wouldn't mind trying my hand at a lit RPG. Maybe we could write in the same world. And I don't think it was that same ride. It had more solidified.
Yeah, afterward.
It was another time that you'd kidnap me away from somewhere else.
Yeah, I do that. I have to extract him from his very rural experience to get him out to interact with other humans.
It's awful, but it's what I need. Thank you. And no, but then he just looks at me and he says, how would you feel about co-writing this? And our histories, we've done a lot of work together at this point too, between you're the editor for my series, and then we did a few other projects together, and we began our negotiations from there.
Yeah. And began the project in earnest from there too. We've been friends for going on 7 years now. Was it 2019?
2019.
So this is sort of the culmination of that friendship. Is this goofy experience that we're trying to share with the rest of the world, and we're thrilled about it.
Which one of you is more like Rick?
Eric is such a piece of work. Fun story about that. When Luke initially started, he does the first draft, and then I come after him and then rewrite, change. I sort of yes and like you would do in an improv performance, and I just build on the great foundation that he gave me. We wrote the outline together, refined it, and then when he got started, he started casting Eric as this really obnoxious, enormous jerk, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But because I had sworn that I'm going to yes and this, I just amped it up even more. So Eric is like the manifestation of the most awful parts of Luke and me combined.
Yeah.
But also like some of the very good parts of Luke and me. We're both avid gamers, and Eric, if you read the story, you'll understand that he does have some experience with video games, and that's part of the reason why he doesn't really like them anymore. More on that in future books. But yeah, I would say that we've taken parts of both of ourselves and dumped them into Eric.
Yeah.
He's an amalgamation of gosh, the worst that humanity can offer, while also hopefully having some redeeming qualities too.
Agreed.
He actually does. I was going to say, as you read book one, once you get closer towards the end of the book, he does. You see a little glimmer there every once in a while of, maybe he gets a little bit of empathy. A little bit of understanding. It starts to get in there.
Yeah.
The epitome of suffering produces character.
Yeah. The entire story is sort of modeled after A Christmas Carol, with Eric being Scrooge in this case, because he is miserly. He has a lot of money. He's very self-assured, self-righteous, self-confident to a horrific degree. And he kind of views everyone else as beneath him, which is certainly not something that Luke and I subscribe to ourselves in person, or maybe a little bit for Luke. But we wanted to not specifically retell the Christmas Carol because I don't think it needs to be retold, but it is that type of story. It's that type of redemptive experience for a character who has a lot of misbeliefs and misconceptions about the way the world works, or the way the world should, he thinks, revolve around him.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too. What was the biggest lesson you learned co-writing a book together, or the most surprising thing that you learned?
Do you have something?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think our case is a little unique in a sense that it's been very agreeable and worked very well. We also have very similar perspectives and values and what we appreciate, not only in life, morality, but also in literature. I think for me is realizing my own weakness and my own, like, I don't keep intense, meticulous track of certain things. I don't need to. It's all in my head. That almost sounds like I'm a bad writer and I'm fine with that. No, I haven't needed to for systems and things. I can usually keep it in my head, but it's like I need to be better about that communication and writing down and keeping track of it all, just so it streamlines the process between he and I. So for my part, it was like, oh wow, you're not just in a bubble anymore, and learning those things that I take for granted to try and make the process smoother for us both. I don't know.
And I'd say for me, I want to echo that this is easily the best professional collaboration I've ever had on anything ever, and I've been in this industry for going on 17 years. And that, I know that sounds impressive. It's not that impressive. But what is impressive is the quality of the collaboration that we have. And I think that what's so helpful for that is we've worked together on other stuff before. Again, I edited his entire 4-book Terra Incognita series, which is published by Aethon. He's read most of my books, so we have a good sense of what each other are capable of. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to work with Luke on something, especially with it being Rickshaw, because we both have a great sense of humor. We both have similar interests, and we write sort of in the same direction. And so instead of having to pull against each other, we're just like dancing down the street, arm in arm, skipping, and having a great time doing it. Because
Frolicking, I dare say.
Frolicking indeed. And that made writing Rickshaw just super easy because we worked on the outline together. We worked through it. We figured out the story, and we have the entire series more or less figured out in broad strokes. And so every individual book, we do the outline, and then Luke jumps in and he does the initial draft, and he sends it to me in chunks. So it's not like he writes the whole book and then I come at it. He'll do a few chapters, 10, 20, 30,000 words, whatever he's got time for. He'll send it to me. He'll take a break. I will go through and come at it with a hatchet or with more words or whatever it needs. And we share a lot of trust in that way. Like, I know he's going to give me something great to work with. And then he knows, how would you phrase it?
Yeah, I know I'm going to get something great back. Like it's almost fun. Like when he sends it back, I like sit down. Oh, all right, get the coffee. What have we got? What have we added?
Yep.
And then we'll be texting like, dude, this line you added is phenomenal. And how did you feel about this? And honestly, we haven't needed any really heavy course corrections other than both of us solidifying the intention for the series and certain plot points.
I will say that the endings of the first 2 books, you set me up, and then I jump in and I really just go after it and bring the endings home. But I couldn't do that without you having already done such a great job with everything else leading up to it. Like, I know we're kind of buttering each other's bread here, but that's the relationship. That's
honest though. I'm not
right. I really value what Luke brings to this collaboration. This was a story, I could have written it by myself. It just wouldn't have been as fun. It wouldn't have been as good. Because Luke, his perspective on things really brought the series and the characters and the antics to life. And especially for book 2, because we go to a video game that I have never played in my life. And the whole middle section is in this particular video game. And Luke has played that game. So with with his experience coming into play there, it really enriches the story world and all the fun stuff that the characters have to deal with.
Yeah, and I feel that way about the ending because that's been another thing too. Is collaboratively, it's strange for me. It's like we're both flying the plane, right? And we each have our responsibilities, but it's like, okay, this landing, I'm not sure. I don't feel like I'm landing my plane per se. So that's been more challenging, and so I endeavor to give you everything you need to work with, and then you take us home, and that's always fun. Like even recently, getting to read the complete ending of book 2, and I'm just like, okay, settling in.
He only read it like the other day. I sent it to the printer before he had a chance to read it because Luke was
That's how much I
That's
trust you,
trust
though.
right
What I
there.
do.
That
That's
that
trust.
speaks to the trust. Yeah. So
This is
I
like
had to.
an adorable bromance that you guys have going on.
It is absolutely. He makes me better. I like to think that I make him better, and it's. I wish he lived closer because we would just hang out all the time.
At least for
You
the rest
have
of
to
the
come to
series.
all these events. Yeah, at least for the rest of the series. But even then, like hopefully it does well, and he'll be stuck with me for the long term in terms of doing appearances or writing peripheral content or just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of really good chuckles out of
Good.
the book. So it's a VR MMO, which
Yep.
has not been wildly popular in LitRPG in at least a few years. You used to see them all the time, and then they kind of slowed down and other tropes kind of take over. What made you decide to do a VR MMO?
I think I'll jump in on this one. For me, it was because I came up with the concept. That's the only way this particular story would function, because it so directly pulls from existing IPs in a fun and what we think of fun and inventive and creative way. And so getting the character into the world, it kind of had to be a VR MMO. But because VR MMO is not as popular right now, it's not as in vogue for LitRPG, we decided that once you're in the game, you're in the game. There's no jacking in and out, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, what's happening in the real world. The readers don't have to keep track of that. We're keeping track of that for you. And that's not to say that the entire series will be like that, but at least for now, the main story problem is that everyone is stuck in the virtual world. And so that we're hoping that even though VR MMO is not as popular right now, we're hoping that folks will give it a chance because, again, once everybody's in the world, the rest of the story, almost all of it, as we've envisioned it, will take place in the world of the Allverse, which is where everything happens.
Yeah, it's like a nice VR MMO isekai hybrid kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am newer into this genre, but I guess some of the philosophy that even though something's not in vogue, you can change that. You don't have to do the same recipe everyone's done. You can make it interesting, and that's a fun challenge.
Yep.
So
that's my stance too. Like I know conventional wisdom says follow trends, write to existing audiences and all that. I have not done that in my career, and that's why my career kind of looks the way it is 17 years in. But this one we're aiming a little bit more at an established audience, and we're just hoping folks will give us a shot because we poured our hearts and souls into this thing, especially in book 2, and it's going to continue book 3, 4, 5, and 6 until we're done. And man, it's a wild ride. We're having so much fun with it.
I am looking forward to finding out what video game is in book 2 that you have never played.
It's a big one. We'll say that.
Yeah.
It's a big fantasy one.
So the main character is Eric Shaw.
Yes.
The name of the book is Rickshaw Riot, and that is his class when he ends up finding one after one is stolen from him in the very beginning of the book. Did you come up with the character's name first or the vehicle that he had to drive around first?
This was an evolving process, and you feel free to jump in as well, Luke. But when I initially conceived of this, the idea was a crazy taxi simulator, but up against all the other video games. And the more we talked about it and discussed it, the more we both sort of came to realize it's funnier. Let me step back one step. We had initially thought, what if he had to start with a rickshaw and then upgrade to the taxi? And we decided it was way funnier if he was just forever stuck with the rickshaw. So it is essentially he's playing crazy taxi, but he has to pull a rickshaw to do it. Meanwhile, there are actually, as I'm sure you read in the book, people who are playing a crazy taxi variant as well and doing other racing games, Grand Theft Auto, Mario Kart, so on and so forth. They're Allverse equivalents. The name of the series was originally going to be Rickshaw Eric Shaw, and we realized that's fun, but that's kind of a mouthful, so we just changed it to Rickshaw Riot.
Which
in fact,
I think is a great name.
Thank you.
I think we came up with Eric's name while we were talking about the rickshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're like, his last name should be Shaw because that's funny.
Yeah.
And the more we like, he just sounds like an Eric. Like it just started to stick. And I think we had obviously we had the three main, Sydney, Eric, like we had
Silas.
yeah. kind of settled in, and then from there,
Nate,
yeah.
everybody else.
What made you choose a not octopus as the animal companion, who
Oh,
is
man.
out of water almost the entire book?
Yeah. This is just like me. No, I don't. This is a lot. Like, where to start with this? Same with, it was like a brewing idea I'd had. I was inspired from another project I'd worked on where I was converting some material, and I felt that there were these sentient octopuses that they used them for a brief moment, but I'm like, you are just leaving money on the table with antics. Like, why wouldn't you capitalize on this? You're leaving animal companions. There's just so much. So I started playing around with this character, and at the time he just sort of bloomed into this strange, endearing, but continuously left field comment. Like, you can never quite track his mentality, and I don't know why. I just kind of relate to that a little bit. I don't know why. And he's absurd. Like, he's just absolutely absurd, even down to he's pretty much an octopus, but he's not. And it was a bunch of elements, that mismatched elements, we thought, that fit this world very well. Yeah. The idea that something so out of place seemed in place seamlessly with this stitched together world.
And he gets very upset when you call him an octopus.
Yes, well, yes, he does. It's insulting. Can you imagine? You've clearly told someone you're a human and they just can't get that. You strange biped.
I mean, but that's Eric Shaw in a nutshell. He just doesn't pay attention to things. And so the world is the Allverse, which is, I believe, also the name of the game. It's the UGE.
The ultimate gaming experience. Yes.
Yeah.
That's just a marketing quip from Eric's company. But yes, the overarching world is the Allverse, and within the Allverse, you can the original intent was you could play any game you wanted and have crossover opportunities. So if you wanted to play Halo, you could be playing Halo and go blow apart a bunch of people playing Frogger if you wanted to, or vice versa.
It's the game we always thought we'd get at some point.
Right. Like, where are all these awesome crossovers that we see in all sorts of books and movies, team-ups, but we don't have that in a video game. So we decided we would do that for our world. And of course, it went horribly wrong, and things are getting corrupted and changed and weird, but that's the kind of insane backdrop we want for Rickshaw.
And they do. You've got some of my favorites are Hall of Duty. Yeah.
Assassin's Bleed. Oh, man.
There
are going to be other assassins showing up at some point, just as a heads up.
Yeah, we'll be cranking them out just like Ubisoft has.
Yep.
Do you have any favorites that you put in book one?
I mean, Shouldermon is just
good one.
Right now, that one's my favorite. I think my second favorite one is, I don't want to spoil too much, but the fork knife antics are pretty great. Fork knife instead of Fortnite, which is colloquially what it's called anyways. A lot of people call it fork knife. So that whole sequence, and then Immortal Combat,
which was another good one. That was another good one.
Yep.
That whole scene was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that's, looking back, we can't help but smile because we just had so much fun writing this book. And book two is even more insane in a lot of ways.
Yeah. There's more room for all the different. So there was an entire brainstorm session of every alternative name we could find, and being amused by that. Like, I remember a few of them being almost in tears. And now the more our bigger problem is, like, can we actually fit all these that we thought of into this book? Maybe. The highlights. But yeah, same for me, like Shouldermon, Immortal Combat is great. Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. I was going to ask, were these names something that you came up with as you were writing the book and you needed something, or did you just spitball all of these and make a huge list beforehand and find ways to work them in?
We definitely made the big list beforehand, and then by doing that, it actually set us up pretty well to come up with, like, the plots. Like, what do they encounter next? Why are they encountering it next? What does that do to the plot? What does it do for the characters? Part of storytelling, at least from my perspective, I think Luke would probably agree with this, is it's not just a sequence of events that happen to the character. The character is making choices that lead him into the next debacle that he's got to figure out. And that opens up opportunities for more hilarity and more game types to pop up in the book and in this game world.
And now they are all stuck in the game. Do we find out what is going on outside of the game? Because they have speculated that they don't know if there's any kind of time dilation or time difference between in-game and out of game.
How much should we say here, Luke?
Minimal.
Yeah.
I think we can give a teaser, but minimal.
I think
Yeah.
suffice it to say, we more or less know what's happening and how it's happening outside the game world. We also know the trajectory of where the series is going and why it's going that way. And that was one of the things I wanted to do with Luke on the front end was I wanted to make sure we had an actual ending for the series. Some of the big guys went on too long as far as LitRPG goes, in my opinion and in the opinion of some readers. And so we were like, when we were trying to figure this out, we were like, is this 5 books? Is it 6 books? Is it 10 books? And as we were working through it, we came to a very natural conclusion at the end of the 6th book. And so we're like, if we can do it in 6, we're going to do it in 6. We don't need to expand this. We don't need to, it's not a cash grab. We want to tell a tight, concise, meaningful story in 6 books. And that's what we're going to do. And we've done it so far in books 1 and 2, with maybe a little bit of gratuitousness in book 2 as far as the length, because book 2 is about twice as long as book 1. But man, we were just having so much fun that we decided we had to do it. So what are you going to jump in and say?
I was just sorry. We'll loop around to the original question,
Yeah.
but it was too. I think book 2, we really hit that sweet spot of the characters are getting to know each other. So the character development opportunities kept opening up and blooming, and that's part of why it got longer too. But that's not something you want to squelch
or rush past.
Rush past or anything, or cheapen it. And but so suffice it to say though,
we have a plan, and all more will be revealed. Especially in book 3, we're going to have some pretty big puzzle pieces start to kind of fit into place. End of book 1 sets up book 2 really well. Book 2, we start kind of like seeing a little bit more of the big picture, and then book 3, you start getting some pretty meaningful answers. And again, nothing is wasted. Nothing is. We're not adding filler to this series. We're just writing it clean. We're writing it tight to make sure that the story keeps moving, the characters keep developing, and the plot keeps progressing.
Yeah, and I think having kind of a loose idea of how many books you want to be in the series is good, and then leaving it open in case the story deserves an extra book, or the story kind of deserves to finish in book 5. You never know. I think gratuitously having a long series just for the sake of having a long series, there are too many long series out there.
Kind of played out, and we don't want we're going to finish this thing too. We're not going to do a Rothfuss or a George R.R. Martin and leave everyone hanging. We're going to get it done, and we're also not going to do what some of our other big LitRPG authors are doing, where this series will go on forever. If that's what you want to do, good for you. More power to you. If you can keep your readers engaged that long, great. Frankly, we know our limits, and so we know we can keep you enthralled for so many books, and then after that, we're going to have to start throwing filler in there, and we don't want to do that. So we're just want to keep it tight.
Very, very anti-filler. I mean, even for me too, a good ending is part of what I enjoy about a story.
Mm-hmm.
There have been stories, and there's even been a handful of stories where I've either read or watched through, and I'm like, this is decent, but the way the ending capped it off, it put immense value into the rest of the story. And that's an art, and that's a needful thing. And that's always been kind of my philosophy with it. So
we're going to stick the landing, because we already know how it ends. And I can't say that for all of my books. Like for some of my books, I've got, with the new one that just went to the printer, I have 30 titles out now, and Luke has got 4 with more on the way. Plus Rickshaw. So I guess you're up to 6 technically. Mm-hmm. But we both have a passion for sticking the landing. His series, his Terra Incognita series, military sci-fi series, brilliant. He sticks to the landing not only in each individual book, but then for the last book, he rounds out the series. It's beautiful. I almost cried. Because I got to read it before pretty much everyone else, and because I was editing it, and I just had nothing but good things to say about it, and still have nothing but good things to say about it. So that's, one of many reasons why I wanted to work with Luke is because I know that he values sticking the landing as far as the ending goes as well. And so that's something that we're definitely going to bring to the Rickshaw series.
I like a good solid ending on a book.
I think our plan for the ending for this one is that by the end, everybody will understand everything that's going on, why it happened, how it happened, the reasons behind it. And on top of that, the resolution will be I would say, a very concrete resolution.
Yeah, because that's, I think one of the most valuable components is resolution with all the elements in.
We want to tie off all the loose threads.
Yeah.
And you do kind of hint a little bit in book 1 about why they're all stuck in the Allverse. You drop just a little tiny crumb in there.
There are several reasons that it could be, and we know the truth. And so the truth will be revealed. Well, I do.
Luke is like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
In the game, so there is like a youth filter, right, that is in the game because it's an all ages game. And so you have these hilarious curse word alternatives.
Yep.
And there is no nudity in the game. So
right.
Eric, when he is naked, has a censor bar over himself that continues to get smaller and smaller and smaller and just drives him crazy. And I think it was every time he tried to change his pants.
That was part of it. I think it was just sort of, in hindsight, it was a gag for the sake of being a gag. But now that we've made some progress, at least in my head, it's smaller and smaller because he hadn't chosen a class. And so it was one of Lucretia's sort of, Lucretia's the governing timer. AI, the AI that runs the story. Sorry, did I break you?
Yeah, I don't know why. That was just...
Excellent. So it's kind of her way, the AI's way of like saying, you need to pick a class here or it's going to get worse and worse and worse for you. And even when he does finally pick a class, basically with the boxers and all that, he anytime he has to take them off, the censor bar is still there for modesty's sake, but yeah, it gets smaller and smaller because she wants him to pick a class, but also she doesn't want nudity in the game world because the content filter's on. And so it's just in my mind, it's the system AI just kind of nudging him to like do the right thing.
Yeah.
I
like that.
Hilarious. And now the curse words that are in the game, did you come up with those the same way you came up with the video game alternative names? Did you just come up with a huge list of just weird alternatives?
Mentally, I would say yes.
But mentally, practically, I think we were just like, what we knew we wanted to keep it clean in that way for reasons. So I'm like, hey, I think we should have a competition of who can come up with the most ludicrous and funny replacements. And I'm like, bet, let's go.
Yeah.
Because they're also very situational.
Yeah.
Yes, we try to keep them situational whenever possible. Sometimes it just doesn't work. But yes, whenever possible, there's situational pseudo-profanity.
That was another thing that I got a good chuckle out of. And now you have partnered up with Sound Booth for this. They are who is doing the audiobook. How did you team up with Sound Booth?
I met Jeff through Matt Dinneman, and I've known Matt since before he started writing Dungeon Crawler Carl. Jeff and I got connected. I started writing for the Dungeon Crawler Carl audio immersion tunnel. It expanded from there. Jeff had me work on some other projects with him. Sound Booth did the audio for my Blood Mercenaries fantasy series, which is available on the Sound Booth app. They're doing the audio for my Santa series. The third book and then the bonus short story come out this Christmas, and so the entire series will be out on audio now, which is really exciting. And then I've worked with them on some other stuff. And then Luke has jumped in with them and done some script conversion work. Have you done other stuff with them too, or just most of the script?
Mostly that, yeah.
And then the interesting part of this, the point of connection, our narrator for Rickshaw is Ryan Reed. And Ryan, he's amazing. He's wonderful. Ryan approached me at Gen Con one year because I was exhibiting. He approached our table. My wife and I are both authors, and he approached us and he saw her and was like, "Ooh, she's scary. I don't want to talk to her. She's gorgeous and intimidating." And I barely even talked to her when I initially met her because I was so like, "Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous." But that worked out. So he came up and talked to us and said, "Hey, do you need an audiobook?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm at Gen Con, which is my busiest show of the year. I'm trying to sell books to people, and you're talking to me about this." Now, I didn't say any of that aloud. I was just thinking it very loudly in my head. But Ryan, oblivious, was just, no, I'm going to talk to you, and it's going to be wonderful. And he did have a nice, lustrous, deep voice, and so I was like, maybe this guy has some potential. And at that same Gen Con, Jeff Hayes was hanging out with his friends from Dimension Games because he had done some audio for one of their properties. And I said, you know what? I'm set for audiobooks. I said, you should go talk to my friend Jeff Hayes. And this was back in 23, maybe 22. And so Jeff had blown up a little bit, but not to the extent that it is now.
Yeah.
And so he was a little bit more accessible. And I sent Ryan over to his booth. I said, he's at that booth. Go talk to him. And so he went and talked to Jeff and submitted a demo. And Jeff liked it. And he's been with the company ever since. And sort of as a way to say thank you, Jeff put him in charge of my Blood Mercenaries fantasy series. And so Ryan is the lead narrator for all 4 of those books. And when it came time to do Rickshaw, Luke and I were talking about it, and because Jeff's so busy, we wanted him to be involved, and he is definitely involved with the audiobook, but he's not the narrator. And also because both of us have such a close personal connection with Ryan, we thought, I think I can really hear Ryan's voice for this. And so we wrote it with Ryan in mind to voice Eric, and we've both been listening to the audio proofs for it, like in the last couple days, and my goodness, did we make the right choice. He absolutely knocks it out of the park. He's sarcastic and rude and a lot like he is in real life in a lot of ways. But that's why we wanted him to do it, is because we knew he could capture Eric so well.
And even, Ryan's a sweet guy.
He is.
But he has a very similar sense of humor. And so I would say he will push it further than we would.
Yes, he already has. Yes, he already has.
And so there were things writing that where I'm like, man, I could hear Ryan saying that. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And of course, Jeff is in the book as well. I don't want to give away too much about that, but he voices the villain, and we're thrilled that he is involved with that, because the villain in book 1, like it's a super important part. The villain is around beyond book 1. I don't want to say too much, but we'll just say that the villain is around beyond book 1, and so we want Jeff in that role because it's going to require some heavy acting at certain parts that are not just comedy, but have some real dramatic and emotional pull to them. Same with Ryan, because Ryan's also capable of that. And same with the rest of the cast as well. We wanted the best team in the world for audiobooks to be working on this series, and that's exactly what we got. And so we're just really excited. Yeah, it is Sound Booth. Absolutely. So we're blessed and very fortunate and very grateful to be working with Sound Booth.
I love Sound Booth and I love Ryan, and this story is going to lend incredibly well to audio.
We agree. And so far from what we've listened to, and we're not very far into, just a few chapters, we're helping proof everything in time for launch. But yeah, we fully agree, and the execution is brilliant. The other cool thing about the audiobook for this series is that it's like partially cinematic. So I'm sure you're familiar with the audio immersion tunnel. It's not quite to that level, but it's closer than I was expecting it would be, honestly.
Same. Yeah.
So there's sound effects, there's original music. It's a full, I wouldn't say a full cast, but a multicast. There's 6 voice actors on this thing. Wow. So we're very blessed and fortunate that Sound Booth believes in this project and wants it to succeed.
Truly.
Fantastic. So book 1's going to be out on July 14th. And when is book 2 set to release?
Well, we just had a conversation about that last night. It's ready to go, but because of Ryan and everybody else's schedule, realistically, the audio won't come out until probably January. But that's okay, because that gives us time to stack up the next book and then the next book and the next book. So I think what we're going to end up doing is a release every 6 months, give or take. And so technically the release as we're filming this right now, today is July 7th. The ebook is out today, and the audio and the print version officially release next week on July 14th, both of them at the same time. And so about 6 months from now in January is when we're planning on launching book 2. And that was a recent change based on Ryan taking a good look at his schedule and just having a fair and honest conversation with us. And so we're pivoting. He's going to start recording probably in October. And then just to make sure he gives it enough time and gives the other actors enough time, January is probably what it's going to be for the launch.
Will that be a simultaneous release in January for book 2?
That's what we're going to aim to do, yeah. So the pre-order is currently set for like October 20th or something for the ebook. But usually, if we do a simultaneous release, then we can maybe get a little bit of love from Audible to help push the series. It's not guaranteed. It's one of the things that we apply for, and it may or may not happen. But because that's an option that we're considering, that's probably what we're going to do. We just had this conversation yesterday, so I haven't changed or updated anything in Amazon or whatever, but that's probably what we'll end up doing, subject to change though. With that said, if any of you find me at a show or an event in the next 6 months, I will have copies of book 2 with me because I can't help myself. And I have readers who are like clamoring for book 2 already, so I have to, make sure that they're satiated.
Yeah, I'm one of those readers.
Excellent. We'll set you up at LitRPG Con.
Yay. So I think that was everything that I had for you guys.
Sure.
Do you have anything that you wanted to mention that I didn't ask about?
Not specifically for me. I just, go grab it, give it a try. Pre-order is live for the audiobook on Audible. We definitely recommend checking it out. It's going to be a heck of a great experience. If you're more into ebooks, the ebook's out now. And print books, you can either get them on Amazon, or if you want to get them signed, you can go to benwolf.com. He doesn't have a website, so I just he leeches onto mine. But that's good though, because like less for you to have to worry about. Like you don't want to deal with all that stuff.
I really don't. So I appreciate it.
So you can get Rickshaw from me if you want it signed and personalized. And there's a decent chance that you can see Luke and me at an upcoming event this summer as well. So we're doing LitRPG Con, then we're doing Gen Con, then we're doing Phoenix Con, which is in Appleton, Wisconsin, then we're doing Dragon Con together. So 4 really great opportunities to come and meet us, chat about Rickshaw and all that fun stuff.
Thank you guys for taking out time. Yeah, thank you for sticking around. Thank you everybody else for sticking around, and keep leveling up.